Oh my god. We're playing Crash Bandicoot, man. So, we're gonna be running this on the Insane Trilogy on PC. And holy crap, man. I absolutely love Crash Bandicoot. It's one of my favorite IPs of all time. Let me get readjusted here. Oh boy. So, I've played the Insane Trilogy for a few years now. And just some history, because we're gonna be going pretty quick. Crash 2 is my... Oh, this is my favorite one. We'll get to that later, of course. Crash 3, I didn't really play because I didn't really have it at the time. I had a few friends who owned Crash 3, and oh man, Crash 2, that was where it was at, man. I love Crash 2. It's one of my favorite games ever made. It's my absolute favorite in the entire series, but we'll get to it later. Crash 1 comes pretty damn close. Now, I never actually owned Crash 1. It was another situation with, like, Warped, where I had so many people that owned this game that I just played bits and pieces of it, but never the whole game. So, Insane Trilogy was my first way of actually playing it. And holy shit, yes, one of my earliest memories is actually playing, it was a PlayStation Underground demo sampler that had Crash 1 on it, and the level was Jungle Rollers. I played that thing so damn much, dude, you have no idea. So, before we get into it, I'm going to be skipping the cutscenes because, at least on this version of the game, on PC, the cutscenes actually have a separate audio thing, so it's super loud to the game options I have set up here. And we are also running this on PC, so it is actually capped at 60. Recording can cause some frame skips here and there, which is really spooky, so I can't really control that because that's just what happens when you lock a frame rate in. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright. Oh boy. I have played through this in preparation because why would you not play this? This is a fantastic game. So we are going to go for 100% completion. And I also am going to be doing, oh, what's it called? Storming Ascent, and I'm also going to be doing all the time relics, and those are going to be without commentary like I normally would do for a speedy kind of video because, you know, I don't really want to sound like that guy, but yeah, it is way, way harder to record these kinds of games when you're going that quickly and like under that kind of time pressure. So I am going to be going for 100% completion. I'll do Crash 2 later, and Crash 3 later probably. I don't know when I'll be doing Crash 2 yet. It's not in the list of games I have planned right this very minute. I'm actually planning on doing Jak and Daxter later this week as well. Ooh, spoiler alert, right? So, yeah. I have a huge fondness for the entire series. I have played Crash, what is it, Wrath of Cortex? That one is pretty bad. I didn't really like that game very much, and I got it when it came out too. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's just basically anemic Crash 3. And it doesn't feel very good to play either. I've never played Twin Sanity or Crash of the Titans. I've not played Crash Bash. The only thing of Crash Bash I understand is the demo that you could play in Spyro 3. That's about it. CTR, same thing. I have no nostalgic memory for CTR. I had, I think, 3 friends that all had CTR, and man, I've been playing Crash 2, so my brain thinks I can still slide. But, yeah. I genuinely have only played the demo of it that was in Spyro 2? God, that makes me feel old. But games used to actually do that. But yeah, this was the demo level you could play on that Jam Pack sampler, or whatever it was. I think it was PS Underground. Jam Pack was later. I think in that version, the green gem path was also unlocked. So, if you've never played a Crash game before, it's very simple. You just move, jump, spin. At least in Crash 1, it's that basic. So, to get gems, you need to get every box in a level. However, because Crash 1 came from that era of games where shit was just so fucking unbelievably challenging, that made you a man, you had to actually beat the game without dying to get a gem in every single level. So we can't get the box gem here, which is why I didn't go through the bonus level as well. And the Insane Edition, the colored gems are the only gems you need to not die in a level to get, because they wanted to keep the, you know, authentic challenge a little bit more in touch. Because in Crash 2 there was death routes, Crash 3 had death routes, even Warped had, or not Warped, but Wrath of Cortex had death routes. This is also the level we will not be coming back to for the gem till way later. The basics of Crash are the little Witch Doctor mask, Aku Aku, gives you like a free hit. If you get 3 of those in a row, well, you still have a level 1 mask and then a level 2. You can become invincible for a short time. There is a little bit of a change between this and the like old Crash games. In old Crash, if you actually had 3 Aku Aku masks, you could bounce every time you got hit while this animation's playing. Like, I go hop, 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 like that every time that would happen. You do get a slight speed boost when you have the Aku Aku mask on like this. And you will not obviously survive a pitfall, but like, a lot of Crash Bandicoot involves just timing and just general awareness of what's going on in the level. You can see I'm very fucking comfortable with this game. Yeah. But yeah, we will not be able to get all the box gems. Some people call it that. I usually call it the clear gem, box gem. I use the same term all the time. I won't be getting those until way later. I will be doing the relics. Those are the little Ankh-looking things you can see there. But I'll be doing those later off camera. I'll try to get gold or platinum at least. I can consistently get gold and platinums in this game. If you're also curious, I do have every single achievement unlocked on Steam. And I've played these games 100% through numerous times. I absolutely love the Crash trilogy. I was very, very happy when it was announced that they were basically just untouched versions of the game, because I have a really, really strong dislike towards reboots and stuff. This, in my opinion, is how you remake a game. It's basically the exact same thing, some small quality of life tweaks here and there, some added extra content to make sure you get something like that makes it different than the regular version, and you don't change the fundamentals. That is exactly how you do it. I could care less if they had Bill O'Reilly. I don't even know who Bill O'Reilly is. I just pulled that name out of my ass. I don't care. I know they have like a celebrity that voices Tiny Tiger, but I could honestly give a shit less. So, anyways, yeah, this is honestly, in my opinion, Insane Trilogy. This is how you do it. If you're a future stupid game developer and you're like, I want to remake a game, do what this did. Just tweak the graphics, make them look pretty, and that's it. I mean, personally, I really do love the art style of the original Crash games. They're very gorgeous, especially on the PS1. Also, I can't get the box gem for this level either, so I'm going to be ignoring that. We can't get a lot of the early game box gems till way, way later. And you know, that's a huge complaint by a lot of people, is that this game has a lot of padding. In terms of the majority of Crash games, this one has the most padding. That's probably the crutch, but it is actually the shortest in the entire series. If you're just going straight through level by level, this is absolutely a short game. It's probably going to take you like 3 hours tops. However, that's a big however, if you're going to go for trying to get the gems, oh man, this game becomes a fucking... Especially original Crash 1 on PS1, it becomes a whole different story, essentially. This is the only game in the series that actually, like, had the weird mechanics, like you couldn't die to get the gems. So also to compensate for this being in the Insane Trilogy, you have to get all the boxes in the bonus stages in Embryo and, what's it called, the Cortex levels as well. So yeah, you absolutely have to change your gameplay style to doing those if you're going to get 100%. I will finish off all the way to Ripperoo, because I don't think this is a very long video so far. So, boss fights in Crash games are never anything to write home about, let's be honest here. They're pretty stock standard. The only difference between this version and the original is Papu Papu actually gets 1 extra hit point, I couldn't tell you why. Maybe so they could animate those glorious jiggle physics. But your guess is as good as mine. I mean, Papu Papu for Dead or Alive 7, right? So, anyways, I'm gonna take a sip of my beverage here. That's good shit. In terms of how much is different between this version and the others, like the original version, there's a few. Number one, the hitboxes are totally different. One of my coworkers and friends also pointed that out. I'm like, yeah, you're not crazy, they are different. Crash's speed is slightly higher. I also can't get the gem in this level too, so I'm just ignoring the bonus stages. There's a Brio token up there. In terms of like speed, this game is slightly quicker than the original version. It also has, I guess, it's really hard to tell unless you've played the original Crash one, but the overall weight is a lot faster. Like, Crash is heavier. In the original, he was kind of slower. Like, these jumps I'm making are a lot tighter, so the control is definitely a lot more cleaned up than the original. But, for the most part, it is very the same. Like, I could honest to God tell somebody, oh yeah, if you don't want to, like, wait on eBay for, like, 6 years for your copy of Crash Bandicoot 1 to come in, sure, go for it, man. Like, it's the way to play the game. Especially because I'm a PC gamer, man. I stopped playing console games years ago, so being able to play this on the PC is just a fantastic fucking thing. And it looks great, you know. I actually have a lot of the options turned off that I don't like. And as far as things I don't like about the Insane Trilogy, they're pretty minor. Number one thing I don't like that it's actually a capped frame rate, because for recording LP sake, it gets a bit weird. But in terms of other things I don't like how there's no option to turn vibration off. I know, that's weird. But as someone who has, like, some issues with their hands, I actually have, like, nerve damage in my fingers, so I don't like feeling shit like that on my hands when I'm playing. It just makes me think I'm, like, doing something weird. I can't explain it. I just don't like vibration on my hands that much either. I've never really liked DualShock. But, to be, like, nitpicky, that's about it. I really don't have very many complaints about the Insane Trilogy. Like, right there you could see there was actually a frame drop because it's a capped frame rate. That just happens sometimes, and I don't have any control in it. I've tried everything, man. But for me personally, I guess the other option I don't like is that sometimes when you reset the game, it forgets what your display settings were at. Like, it'll sometimes have it in a window, and then it'll be like off-center and you have to like reset it. But that takes like 2 seconds. My only gripe with that is you have to like reset the game, and then you gotta go into an actual level, then you can open up the game options when you're finally in the level. That's pretty much about it. I don't really have any major complaints about Insane Trilogy. From what I can gather, this was like a huge success. I mean, it was a wonderful idea too. Like, holy shit, dude. Put all 3 Crash games in one. That's what everyone wanted. You don't have to like swap discs or anything, you got the game. Also, if you couldn't tell, yet another level we cannot go get the box gem until way, way later. This is actually my least favorite level in the game, probably. Well, in order of getting relics, this is absolutely the fucking apex of awful. I got to their frame rate drop there. I'm gonna point them out when I see them so you guys know what I'm talking about. In terms of music, look, it's a toss-up between this and the original. I prefer the original because I have a soft spot for synthetic music. Like, I love the synth guitar in Crash 2 so much. It sounds so cool. But, feel a little nasally. Oh no, I'm turning into Chris Chan. Oh god. So for the most part, I would say I like the music in this version equal. It's literally gonna come down to what you prefer. I think some of the music tracks in this game are a little bit not as good as they could have been. Especially when it comes to, like, percussion is good, but the other instruments are a little bit awful. Like, I don't think that the synth is as good in my mind. I don't like some of the, I think the percussion's fantastic. All the percussion pieces in this game are just wonderful. But, the overall, like, string work and stuff, I don't think is as good as the original. Which is kind of bullshit because it was synthetic, but, like, I really love the charm it had. Like, Boulders in Crash 2, those chase levels have really good music in that. The other one I could say I don't like as much. I mean, it's like I said, it's personal preference. I'm really having to struggle to think of having complaints about this game. Pretty sure we can go, yeah, that's right. We gotta go past the Tales from the Punch Bowl here. Skip a bullshit load of this level. In terms of difficulty, by the way, I'd say Crash 1 is probably the second hardest. I think Crash 2 is personally a lot harder. And that's also in part because Crash 2 has some absolutely... Oh my god, that was bullshit, and you know it. Crash 2 has some absolutely heinous secret shit in it. This game doesn't have as much, but it's still... It's a different kind of difficulty. I can't really explain it. Having played all three games, I think Crash 3 is probably the easiest. I mean, maybe it's the hardest to you, but I think Crash 3 is the easiest. But I also don't like Crash 3 as much because it's not as... Like, what I'm doing right now is what I enjoy about the Crash games so much. It's very... It's solid, right? Like, you know what you're doing, you know, you're just jumping on boxes and getting Wumpa Fruits. They're called Wumpa Fruits, they're not mangoes! Ah! Oh man. That Crash 2 speedrun at SGDQ where the guy was like fucking having a mental breakdown and he was like, you just gotta kill yourself! Like, and the fucking people, oh man, just look up SGDQ. It was either AGDQ or SGDQ, I can't remember which. And this guy was fucking losing his mind playing Crash 2. It's absolutely fucking hilarious. We can get the clear gem in this level, by the way. So, time to get fucking serious. Better call Dr. Phil, because it's time to get real. I don't know, I've only been awake for less than 30 minutes. What do you expect of me, man? So, like, I really love the remake of this game. I think it's perfectly fine. Because, like I said, I think the problem I have with remakes is they just try to, like... They try to do too many weird things at once. Like, right? Fuck these monkeys, by the way. They can roll you off of shit if you're not careful. You're probably like, why are you making such risky jumps? I played Crash 2 recently, and my brain thinks I can do shit that I can't do in this game, like the ultra spin jump and shit. Trust me, when we get to that game, you'll have, like, ass clench the entire time, because I've got that game locked in like no other. It's unbelievable. Fucking monkey piece of shit. There we go. Oh god, that was a bad... yeah, that was just a bad cycle I walked into. That's fine. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. But, I think Crash 1 is challenging, but it's challenging because it's got... Well, if we're going from the original Crash 1, where you had to, like, not die a single time in the entire game, in a game that's very, very fucking easy to get killed in. I think that, personally, is a problem. Also, the, Crash 1 originally had a lot of weird shit in it. Like, if a TNT crate, like, exploded and blew up something, it didn't count. So, like, in this game that's fixed, obviously, but in the original, yeah, if, like, a TNT crate blew shit up, it would not count towards your box tally. You also had no way of seeing your box tally, either. So, like, you couldn't do this and check and see how many. You just had to pray, fingers crossed, at the end of the level you got the fucking gem. You could also miss the gem. That was another thing that could happen, too. It was very easy to fuck up in Crash 1 on the original. See, right here, this is a good example of how much heavier you are in this game, compared to the other Crash games. Like, it's heavier, but it's also faster. I can't really explain it. It's one of those things, like I said, you gotta play the game to understand, but... in terms of difficulty, I think Crash 1, it's fair. It's a fair challenge. There's some aspects to it that I know people are gonna go, what about the road levels? And I say, those are actually pretty tough. I'm not gonna sit here and say they're easy. I might fuck those up, honestly, personally. Those are really challenging levels. But, I don't know. I think Crash 2 is just infinitely harder. I think it's because the control is also way tighter in that game. You don't have as much forgiveness. Like, you can accidentally belly flop really easily in that game and fucking doom yourself. But here's our other boss fight, Original Ripperoo. I'm not really a huge fan of this fight. I don't think I'm the only other person in the world that thinks this. I think it's boring. I like his fight in 2 better. Also, we can go over here. Oh, you gotta be shitting me, dude. That should have counted. I might die in Ripperoo because I'm just not good at it. Oh, I hate this fight. It just makes me impatient. Ripperoo, I think, is... Jesus, that was... Yeah, Ripperoo is Jesus. That is a very real statement, wasn't it? Ripperoo's not a hard fight, but it's just... God damn it, if this was the original, that actually would have counted as hitting him, because the hitboxes were fucking ridiculous in that game. Ugh. I don't like this boss fight at all. Probably because I'm extremely impatient in this fight. But it's not gonna hit him. Damn it. It's because I don't know this pattern very well. Because I've also never grown up with this game, so I don't have the pattern locked in. Like, you know, it's easy when you've actually played the game as a kid. You're like, oh yeah, I got that locked in. Like, I remember his pattern in 2 because I played 2 a shitload. Like, I can do that with my fucking eyes closed. But, in this game, no. I mean, the boss fights in Crash have never been their strong suit either, by the way. Let's not mince words here. They are definitely an afterthought, I guess. He's gonna jump there. See, I just don't know the pattern. That's the big problem here. He's gonna jump on me, Jesus. Yeah, there we go. So this is the diamond one, am I correct? Yeah, that's what I thought. This one I usually end up being over here for some strange reason. I just don't like this boss fight. I don't care if I get killed, I just don't want to. I mean, I'd hope that makes sense, right? Yay, there we go, I cheesed his ass. Awesome. I turned him into fucking Cheeto dust. And yeah, they have new death animations as well. Okay. That went pretty well. Now I'm scared because it went pretty well. That means the rest of the game is going to be a fucking headache, right? So, I'll see you guys in the next one.